Good evening, everyone. Hi, this is Sam Radi. I'm your host today for a discussion about AI. I have a very lovely group of people that I will speak with them today. They work in a profession that I really love. I admire people in this profession. I like what they do. And I assume that we all agree that without teachers and without educators, we will never ever achieve what we are achieving at the moment. Those educators are actually coming to us from Durham College. It is a nice place where they have a very advanced programs in cybersecurity, and they have a very advanced system where they actually make the support and the system to graduate people with a hands-on experience in cybersecurity, AI, and data analytics. So please join me to introduce our speakers for this session today. I will give them the chance to speak about each one of them, but I'm very happy to have Rukmani with me today, Danny, Sukhwant, and Ruba Alomari from Durham. And we will go around the table for introduction. We'll start with Rukmani first.
Good morning, guys. It's nice and pleasant to be here in the platform. I work as a professor in computer systems, advanced diploma program in School of Business, IT and Management in Durham College. I have a Master of Engineering degree in computer networks from Ryerson University. And we all know Durham College is it's a Cisco and AWS Academy. So I also certified to teach Cisco courses, especially CCNA security, IoT security courses. I also authorized to teach AWS Academy courses. I have over 17 years of experience combined in both industry and education. I have helped a lot of small and medium enterprises with setting up their network infrastructure, server deployment, and maintenance with security best practices. And I teach various security courses in Durham College and in the computer systems and both cybersecurity graduate certificate program. And I mentored many students in practical applications of the technology. And we in Durham College provide experimental learning by asking the students to replicate the real-time application using both physical and cloud technology. Most of our students are trained and have a paying job in short period of time after graduation. We also encourage students to about the requirement of cybersecurity and knowledge shortage. So that's why we have Center for Cybersecurity Hub. We insist the students about the importance of security. And also, we are all virtual nowadays because of this pandemic. So it's important to have security and understanding security needs and how it can transform a vulnerable business to worse if it's not properly implemented. That's what we insist and instill in our student, and hope you all enjoy this session.
Fantastic, Rukmani. Sukhwant.
Hello, my name is Sukhwant, and I'm a professor in computer programming stream of School of Business, IT and Management at Durham College. I'm also a member of Program Advisory Committee of the college. My highest qualification is Doctorate in Information Technology from University of Salford, United Kingdom. With nearly 19 years of teaching experience, I've taught students across the world. I've been instrumental in facilitating and coaching students by using interactive discussions, practical approaches, along with seminars, trainings, and various workshops. I'm a certified AWS academic accredited educator. I'm also a member of IEEE and Computer Society of India. My research interests are in the domains of analysis of algorithm, information security, machine learning, and data science. I've published more than 25 research papers in international journals and conferences. I always look forward for CISO Forum as it brings experts to discuss the ever-changing field of information security management under one roof. I love the keynotes addressing innovation and cutting-edge solutions to the challenging security domain. This forum helps in building stronger community for handling challenges and latest technology. I hope you would enjoy this session of information security. Thank you.
Thank you, Sukhwant. Ruba?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ruba Alomari. I am a professor in the computer systems stream at Durham College. I'm also the program coordinator of the cybersecurity, the data analytics, and the artificial intelligence graduate certificates. I have a PhD in computer science, master's in information security, and I have been worked in the industry for 15 years before I decided in 2012 to switch my career to education. I love the classroom. I love my students. I love being in the classroom and teaching. I get lots of energy from my students. I love teaching cybersecurity. I teach courses like hacking and exploits, incident response planning, and business continuity management, law and ethics in information technology. I'm a certified Chief Information Security Officer and a certified ethical hacker version 10. I'm also as Rukmani AWS accredited educator and a cloud practitioner. So we bring lots of these tools into the classroom in order to give our students hands-on and applied learning of the tools that are available in the industry. I hope you enjoy your time with us today. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Ruba. Danny.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Danny Aniag. I've been with the college since 2013. I've been teaching practically for about 28 years now, and I got my first master's in information technology. 3 years after that, I got my second master's in industrial robotics. So my delegation right now with the college is a professor for cybersecurity. Focusing mostly on penetration testing, vulnerability management, compliance. I'm an active consultant right now in the industry. Before I've been doing that for about 8 years. Currently, I've got 5 major projects. I've worked with 38 different companies right now doing penetration testing, regulatory compliance, vulnerability management, and basically one of the things that will be discussed later on is the cybersecurity hub of Durham College, which is an innovation hub, an incubator hub for cybersecurity projects. I was the principal lead on the very first cybersecurity/AI machine learning project that we did. And I will be glad to actually discuss that later on. So welcome.
Okay, excellent. Actually, this is a group of people that I will never, ever dare to let my educations or certifications in front of them, because definitely you guys have much more than me in this one. So I will leave this aside for the time being, and we will start our discussion. So we are talking about AI, and we are talking about the trend now in the industry. So I will start with Sukhwant, and I will say the artificial intelligence now is actually the trend in almost everything we do in our life, from shopping, marketing, grocery, and technology. And this also will include cybersecurity. So from your perspective, how you see the AI actually shaping our cybersecurity?
Thank you for the lovely question. I would say in recent years, the focal point of data intelligence innovation has been the combination of big data, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. And it should come as no surprise that these technologies promise to transform cybersecurity. By not being proactive and having automated protections in place, businesses are actually dicing with unnecessary risk and reputational damage that comes with compliance and security breaches. So therefore, AI comes to rescue for us. With the use of machine learning, expert systems, networks, and deep learning, AI has got all that is required for cybersecurity operations. Essentially, AI builds visibility into threats before they strike. I would say the reality is that massive volumes of raw data from internal and external sources outmatch any traditional SOC's ability to process and detect every potential indicator of compromise. But when combined with human intelligence and open source intelligence, AI-powered cybersecurity tools can optimize efficiency and help to deliver continuous and real-time risk predictions, risk-based vulnerability management, and proactive control of breaches. I think these days we do have a term called cyber threat intelligence. It has become such a crucial piece of cybersecurity as it helps businesses identify malicious activities before they happen. And it also helps speed up decision-making processes to respond to such threats. Again, having said so, it's very important to understand how AI does this in cybersecurity area. AI helps in fast creation and deployment of analysis agents without complex integration or versioning of the software. These agents actually support smart automation of security operations and proactive threat detection. Let me take a few real-life examples where AI has actually shaped cybersecurity to a larger extent. You all might be aware of machine learning application for driving improved voice-based experiences on the likes of Google Now, Apple Siri, and Amazon's Alexa. Yet there is an application for security too. Google is using machine learning to analyze threats against mobile endpoints running on Android, as well as identifying and removing malware from infected handsets. Our own Amazon, the cloud infrastructure giant, has acquired a startup, Harvest.ai, that uses machine learning to uncover, sort, and classify data stored on the S3 cloud storage services. Not only that, a UK-based startup, Darktrace, has recently helped one casino in North America when its algorithms detected a data exfiltration attack that used a connected fish tank as the entryway into the network. Can you just imagine? Hackers try to connect to a connected fish tank to enter into the network. And that's where it helps, the AI helps businesses to detect malicious activity faster and stops attacks before they get started. Also, many companies, in order to improve malware detection, they have moved from purely signature-based systems to machine learning systems that tries to interpret actions, events, and learns from a variety of sources about what's safe and what's not. You might have heard of zero-day threats. So machine learning is really, really useful to help close vulnerabilities, particularly these zero-day threats that target largely unsecured IoT devices. There's a team at Arizona State University who uses machine learning to monitor traffic on the dark web to identify data related to zero-day exploits. If a company is having these kinds of insights, they would potentially close vulnerabilities and stop patch exploits before they result into data breaches. Then we have another branch of artificial intelligence. We call it as natural language processing. You all might have thought of this natural language processing as a counteract for phishing attacks. It's used to contain phishing. It's used to read the text through incoming and outgoing emails to identify patterns or phrases in the message associated with phishing efforts. Not only that, we do have airports, and there we have security screening done by immigration officers and customs. They can detect people that are lying about their inventions. That is possible only because of AI and big data. They are being used to pick up small variation of facial expressions and body gestures that may raise suspicion. Actually, that system has a screen with virtual face that asks questions. It monitors changes in the answers as well as differences in the voice tone of the people. The collected data is compared with elements that indicate that someone might be lying. Those passengers are flagged for further inspection if they are considered suspicious. Last but not the least, we have banks and insurance companies. They can detect previously unseen forms of suspicious behavior while quickly recognizing the more subtle patterns of fraud that have been previously observed across billions of accounts. in nutshell, if I have to say, I would say AI is shaping cybersecurity dramatically through advanced and predicted analytics and machine learning algorithms that are used to determine threat patterns by leveraging threat intelligence feeds, vulnerability information, device event logs, and contextual data, allowing for more proactive and systematic security insights.
Excellent. Actually, this is something make people sometimes rethink their actions and reactions in public spaces. I am aware of those programs in the airports and how they usually detect people as we go. Any of the other panelists want to share their opinion on this question, like how you see this fits from your perspective as cybersecurity professionals? Danny?
There you go. I thought I was on mute. All right, so Sukhwant actually gave a very good point in terms of mentioning about the evolution of the current malware state. Gone are those times wherein we define and we detect malware in terms of its signature base. Nowadays, if you look at Logarithm, if you look at Splunk, basically they are changing their detection modeling, so to speak, to look at behavioral models of how malware evolve and morph. Now, this is crucial in getting a step ahead with the hackers nowadays. And this is only possible. We can only proactively design codes that detects the behavioral patterns that this malware bring to task if we involve machine learning and AI. So without machine learning and AI, we could not really get a step ahead against this hacker. So Sukhwant did a really good point in raising that distinction.
Okay, good. So Ruba, we'll switch gears to you now. From your perspective, do you think that the automation we have at the moment, enabled with the AI technologies we have and the deep intelligence and neural networks and every other things we have in place, actually is the way that we can test our compliance from a security perspective?
There is absolutely lots of space in using AI in compliance and auditing. So can AI help prepare an organization to test for its compliance and for an audit? Yes, it definitely can. Not only can it help in the preparation, but also it can transform actually the whole process of auditing. Mm-hmm. So let me give you an example. In financial auditing, the main goal of the audit is to collect evidence from the organization to allow the auditor to make a decision or form an opinion to decide if this organization is presenting their financial statements properly or not. The process of collecting this evidence is very time-consuming, labor-intensive. It requires lots of research in the company profile and, inspecting documents in the inventory and through financial statements. Lots of, again, labor-intensive and time-consuming work. Now, if we look at the history of the auditing process, the financial auditing process, we'll notice that there hasn't been any change since the time it was presented in Sarbanes-Oxley Act in 2002. Over almost two decades, the only change that we notice is the switch between paper and pencil to computer assisted, but nothing more in the process itself. The process and the nature of the auditing remain the same. Now, currently, when introducing AI into the auditing process, auditing can benefit from the analysis and information processing that the AI tools can bring with it. With bringing AI, the steps and outcomes of the auditing process will still remain the same, but with the tasks that are being conducted with an AI-assisted auditing will be dramatically changed, will have a great impact. They will be improved dramatically. So you will see the true impact of AI in the process itself. Let me give you a couple of actual examples, specific examples of how AI can transform the audit process. So the couple of examples I chose are from a recent featured article in the ISACA journal recently in 2019, where what they did is actually they compared the complete audit process between a manually audited by a traditional auditor process, and then they compared it with these processes being audited with an AI assisted. So the AI assisted audit is not replacing the auditor, but working with the auditor. And they took each process of the audit and compared what can be done by the traditional auditor and how it can be done with an AI assisted process. So I'll tell you about these two processes I chose to present to you as an example. First, generally speaking, an audit has a number of processes, one of which is the first example we will be talking about, which is the evaluation of the internal controls. Now, during this process, if it's a traditional auditing, an auditor will be inspecting operational tests for these internal controls. He can do this through observing employees. He does it also through re-performing these processes. He does it through inspecting documents. And this is the traditional way to do it. Now, if we bring AI algorithms to help assist this auditor, we can employ AI algorithms in order to digitally inspect these documents. So an AI algorithm can look for digital certificates. It can look for the authenticity of the approval process. Did this document go through the proper, correct approval process? It can go as far as, inspecting the actual hand signature on the paper. AI algorithms can be taught to recognize an authentic hand signature through different algorithms and to flag any signature that the algorithm believes might be suspicious, might be not authentic, in order for the auditor to review. So imagine how much these thousands of documents the auditor has to go through, and the AI is inspecting through these documents and only flagging or marking the ones that are suspicious that the auditor has to look at. So this is in terms of bringing AI assistance into the examining of the internal operations. I'll give you another example, which is very time consuming, which is inspecting inventory. So this is a process that is a component of the auditing of any organization. And through this process, as you can imagine, the auditor will be actually like manually checking the inventory. They will be checking sales orders, invoices, cash receipts, everything to ensure that what has been bought and everything in the inventory. So this is a time-consuming and labor-intensive process. Now, when we bring technology into the process, the inventory management, and I'm just saying technology, so at this point, we did not bring in AI, we're just bringing technology to help the auditor. We're looking at barcode scanners, QR scanners, we're looking at drones assisting in taking the inventory of these stores. So we're adding technology which the auditor can leverage in order to speed up the process. And then we bring AI that will take these tasks into one step further. So through the use of machine learning, AI can actually inspect the sales orders, cash receipts, invoices, and it will automatically reconcile any discrepancies in these documents, and again, flag transactions that are potential fraud cases in order for the auditor to review them. And machine learning can do this through looking at different, entries in the documents. If there's an entry that is abnormally a large amount, if there's an entry that has been changed at year end, if there is something that looks suspicious, this is where the AI will come and mark and flag these entries for the auditor to change. So these are just two examples that AI that during that comparison, of course, the featured research in Isaac goes ahead and compares every process. But in the interest of time, I just wanted to give these two examples. But here's something, Samer, that comes to mind when we look at the results of comparing these two approaches, traditional auditing and AI-assisted. The question that comes in mind, will AI take the role of an auditor? Is it here? Should auditors be worried about their jobs? Is AI going to replace the auditor? And I can tell you that the short answer is no, as observed in ISAC research, and I'll mention as well IBM Watson Financial Services. The AI can have a great impact in assisting in the audit, but it cannot replace the experience and even the skepticism and the thinking that a human being brings to the job. It cannot replace the story that the auditor can tell from the data and from everything that they see through the auditing process. But I wanted to end this question on one note that I quote from advisors at IBM Watson Financial Services. It lists that the forest is so large and there are so many trees in the forest, and the auditor needs to see both the forest and the trees. So they need to be able to step back and look at the large picture, but at the same time, look at the very details. And leveraging AI tools and AI algorithms will help them, will give them the ability to be able to see the forest and the trees. So long answer short, AI can be very helpful in in checking if an organization meets compliance requirements and preparing them for auditing and helping them with the actual auditing. But at the same time, it cannot replace the human factor in there.
Actually, like I'm very disappointed with this answer. I thought I would be in a place where I have a script, run it overnight. The next day, I will have my audit report, stamp it, and give it back to the government. Like, I don't need to pay those auditors too much money at the end of the day. That's okay. I will wait. Hopefully.
Yeah, not so far. I wanted to say not yet, but all right.
Okay. Thanks, Ruba, for the details. Rukmani, now from your approach and using the AI in a governance practice, can AI enhance actually our risk mitigation strategies or accountability frameworks?
Well, it is, because it's already enhancing the risk mitigation strategies and accountability framework. AI is no more a new technology. It's already a technology adapted by the industry experts, by bigger organization overall. Governance is a broader concept, especially for organizations who have businesses running across the world. So they have to monitor structures, systems, practices, and every single country will have their own rules, regulations, everything. So as a management perspective, in order to make an efficient and effortless decision, AI can complement that process. It can enhance the risk mitigation strategies. And because AI, when it is adapted, it can provide a complex decision-making process and ease the security professionals' job, because it is complementing them to adapt it. And also, it can provide an insight which is never received in the past by the management team. And as also, I would say, the moment we decide to use a mobile phone, especially a smartphone, even we integrate our real life to artificial intelligence. That's what I would say, because it's no longer an option for a company. It's become a necessity for any organization to adapt AI into the daily operation, maybe front office operation, back office operation, or their in-field operation. But AI becomes a necessity for an organization if they want to get a greater benefit for the financial perspective and also for decision making. And also it can provide safe, fair, and more inclusive manner. But the more AI can be helpful, it can be a risk as well. Because the moment you implement AI, it doesn't mean it's complete. It's a beginning. That's what we have to understand. It's not complete. That's where we are beginning with a new technology. Like us, we try to defend our network. Likewise, there are some malicious actors across the globe try to, find using AI. They also use AI to find vulnerability, to inject something in the organization. So definitely, I would suggest it's not an option, it's a necessity for any organization to govern their practices.
Awesome.
Summer, can I just add on my colleague Rukmani's very good answer there? So I just would like to share with you right now. I just in one of the consulting gig I'm doing right now, we've just completed the SOC 1 compliance, and right now I'm doing a HIPAA stage 2 compliance as well as an ISO 27001. And one thing really stands out that I notice lots of auditors are requiring from. So 3 years ago, let me take a step back. 3 years ago, auditors mostly, if they're looking for evidence, right, for the audit to actually enforce compliance, they're just going to look for policies. Nowadays, I notice they're not requiring or asking for policy documents from companies that they're auditing. They're actually looking for logs, and I kind of got curious and interested in why they're doing that. And one of the things I've noticed is that they are getting mostly logs. Let's say if it is from AWS, they're looking at the container logs. If it is an Azure, they're looking at the Kubernetes and the blob storage. And they are going to put those logs into their own data model. And from that, they would be able to identify, hey, there was a breach, and yet this company is saying there's no breach. There is a potential malware lurking in this segment too, where in fact the company says there is no breach in the past review period. That's the kind of shift that I'm seeing right now that the auditors are looking for whenever they're trying to look for compliance. They're looking for logs. So they're not anymore very cognizant on the policy documents that the typical audit will do. Like if you're talking about ISO 27001, you're talking about 13 domains, right? They're not even looking for that. They're actually using AI and machine learning to actually crunch the numbers by getting the logs directly from the production network of the company, and they themselves will decide whether the company is in compliance or not. Now, having said that, whenever we talk about compliance, we're talking about two things. It's either regulatory, right, or statutory. Statutory being, these are statutes, laws enacted by the government, whether federal or local. If it is regulatory, basically you're talking about NIST, you're talking about GDPR, you're talking about HIPAA or FERPA. And in all of this kind of audit compliance, auditors are equipped with tools that has AI embedded in it, a machine learning component that does their own analysis of the current logs of the company. So things are shaping up. It's changing the way company governance are being enacted by making sure that every edge point, every endpoint device has to be remediated and has to conform to the compliance that are set forth by the company. So things are looking up in terms of AI and machine learning with respect to governance, risk mitigation, and basically compliance.
Okay, good. Thanks for the addition, Danny. And actually, the question now is for you. Last year, I remember, and the year before, people start talking about data as the new oil. But I like actually better now the phrase of AI is the rocket, but data is the fuel. So AI now is advancing actually, and without AI, we don't need the fuel. Without the fuel, we cannot run the rocket. So from your perspective, how we can work and train the next generation of cybersecurity specialists who are knowledgeable on data practices as well? And do you think technologies like the SIM technologies can help in your curriculum?
AI is the rocket, data is the fuel. I've heard that the second time. And first time I heard it is from my good friend Ali. So I know he's somewhere here in the virtual platform, but couldn't be further than from the truth. Okay, so basically how we're able to actually prepare, the question is how we're able to actually prepare our students in the cybersecurity program of Durham College that has data analytics dexterities, right, in the field of cybersecurity. Let me answer that in two folds. First, the how. No, I'll answer it first with the what, and then I'll explain the how we're doing it. So questions like, are we using Splunk? Are we using Logarithm, right? The top two data collection log tools out there. The idea behind the program is actually leaning towards open source as well as the most academic institution. We're actually leaning towards mostly open source tools. And but what we're trying to make sure that we always do is that we just don't dump open source tools and teach it to our students, but we make sure that we cover the entire ecosystem of cybersecurity, right? So basically, you're talking about the analytics portion, the visualization portion, the triage, the modeling, the threat hunting. So this entire ecosystem, we make sure that we teach them, we train them with different open source tools from Mitre to TensorFlow to even the Apache Spark, the Kali, and basically we try to tell them which tool is appropriate under which platform, under which architecture, which one is better under the cloud environment or on-prem environment. And then we tell them, here's the life cycle, here's the ecosystem, this is when you use it and when the other tool complement each other. So we give them the entire picture. We just don't give them a laundry list. Say, here are the tools, here's the virtual machine, here's the ISO, run it on your local machine and have it go. That's not how we teach in Durham College. We give them the 30,000 feet overview. We do Hoshin planning from top down, and then from there we introduce 3 or 4 tools that are open source per stage of the ecosystem, and then from there they could experiment with other tools that they feel is related to that tool. So we kind of take the approach of providing them all the open source tools and then providing them the entire life cycle, if you will. So that way the students would know the how, not just the what. And then eventually when they start working, they'll be able to adjust, they'll be able to comprehend, they'll be able to make those kind of strategies, which particular tools works with which framework, which particular analysis work with this environment, and so forth and so on. Let me just be selfish a little bit here, Samir, and try to put up our program in comparison with other colleges, the 8 community colleges, at least for Toronto. The biggest selling point of the cybersecurity program in Durham College is that the curriculum is based in terms of the students being trained with how the Security Operations Center works, and to inculcate in them how does a SOC analyst actually works in a SOC environment. We firmly believe that if you want to be in the cybersecurity world, whether you have background in cybersecurity or not, the very first entry point that you have to remember is how to be a SOC analyst. And from that point on, you can decide, do you want to go to auditing? Do you want to go to pen testing? Do you want to go vulnerability management or governance, right? But it all starts with SOC analyst. If you look at the curriculum and the description, if you compare that, right, you would notice that our curriculum actually conforms with the EC Council SOC analyst roadmap, which basically is one of the leading organization in terms of cybersecurity certification. And in this regard, that's what makes the Durham College cybersecurity program stand out, right? And again, a lot of students always comes up to me and says, okay, Danny, okay, we're sold. Okay, you have had mentioned all of the good things about cybersecurity. We're sold, we're in. Where do we start, right? Where do we begin? What particular skill set do we begin to first master? We talk about SOC analysts, and this is basically what our program will prepare you for. And this is a perfect, springboard for you to jump into this program.
Actually, you make me now convinced that I need to come and participate in this program. I don't know. I will ditch my hacking exposed book now, and
You're welcome.
Yeah. Come on in, Summer. Summer.
I will, Danny, definitely. Sukhwant, from your perspective now, what validations we could have in place so we can prevent bias actually in our data sets?
Really, yeah. I mean, if we see power of supervised learning, it actually depends heavily on the quality of training data. So bias in AI systems, I would say it comes from various sources, from the algorithm and input attributes chosen to the hidden correlations within the training data. So if we have biased training data, we are going to definitely get biased AI systems. What I see here is it's not possible to eliminate bias in AI completely, but then it is essential to know not only how to reduce bias in AI, but actively work to prevent it. So when we see sample, we do have samples bias. We have measurement biases. We have a frequency of data collection in biases, okay? So all these actually aggravate bias in our AI models. If I have to recommend few validations, I would say I have a couple of them in my head right now. The very first is recommendation of mine is to have data cleaned. It's really, really important to minimize bias. We need to monitor for outliers by applying statistics and data explorations. At least at a basic level, AI bias can be reduced and prevented by comparing and validating different samples of training data for representativeness. Second recommendation would be to avoid overly curated training data. What does that mean? It means when you are considering whether a training set is appropriate for the expected production workload, avoid selecting highly curated sets that perform well on the curated evaluation data, but are unlikely to perform well on the real world scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
I would, the third thing that comes up in my mind is to guard your data against manipulations. It's really important that training data, which can be maintained by either outside or inside actors, we need to have best data security practices to ensure that data sets are not getting accidentally poisoned. So that's the most important thing, because certain times what happens is the other department people, or by knowingly or unknowingly, they handle or they poison the data sets, and that's wherein it leads to biasing in the data sets. Then comes substantiating surrogate data. That means if at all, any times you are using surrogate data, it should be accompanied by quantitative evidence that suggests that surrogate data is appropriate for its intended use in the model. The organization should be knowing the limitation of this surrogate data. That means it has to be really, really documented and presented during reviews of predictions. Another thing that's that I'm thinking about is to figure out about incomplete data. It is particularly true when the system is trained on a clean set, but then receives a wider ranges of samples in production. Let me take an example. An employer recruiting program, they may use credit scores to train a filter to screen candidates, but they can always confuse someone with no credit history as someone with a low credit history. So it's really, really important that the AI has to detect, or the application or the machine learning algorithm or any kind of a statistical tool which you're using, they should be able to detect incomplete data. Then we have data divergence. That's really, really important, that your statistical tool needs to detect these data divergence. The low confidence variables or the labels should be omitted. So the team should evaluate whether the input data received for inferences, they match the expected distribution that is being anticipated by the training data. If not, the model should be retrained with fresher data to match the production overload. Last but not the least, I would say input data sources should be refreshed in a timely manner. This includes data which is being used for training, as well as the data which is being used as a store data sets for features for production references. In order to conclude the answer, I would say we need to be very, very careful in our data collections. Biased AI systems that are put into implementation, they can cause problems, especially when they are being used for automated decision-making, autonomous operations, or maybe a facial recognition software that makes predictions or renders judgments on individual. So it's really, really important to look into these validations in terms of data sets.
Excellent, excellent. Thank you. Rukmani, do you think anytime soon I will be able to replace my, I don't know how many seats in the SOC with a code or an AI or both of them, and be able to have a SOC as AI as a service?
I will say no even before further explanation, because I believe AI cannot and should not replace a SOC environment, because you can compare artificial intelligence with human intelligence. Of course, AI has been widely integrated into business due to its efficiency and timely response to potential problem. And it is already used to automate the task for decision-making process, especially in cybersecurity. But it has its own limitation because it's a machine pre-programmed by a human to adapt predetermined pattern, right? So in a changing, rapid cybersecurity threat environment, AI cannot predict every single thing. It can complement the SOC environment, but it cannot. So AI is programmed in the way that it identifies known threat. Sometimes it can identify unknown threat, but you need human intelligence to predict what it is. And I would say it's not a possibility for a machine to identify completely new, unrecognized item, because it's we program it. And also, if you see, the security have evolved in a decade. Why it has evolved? Always we have been come up with the best technology. Why it has evolved? Because always there is a team of professional, bad actors or hackers, criminal, they try to manipulate. So they try to manipulate the algorithm. They also use AI. So I want to tell about Thales Security Intelligence by Cisco. So they are considered to be one of the fast and comprehensive, like, web protection. They have number of threat intelligent detection network. So Thales is one of the largest commercial threat intelligent network by Cisco. So what they have deployed almost 1.6 million security devices. And also that includes firewall, intrusion prevention, email and web security appliances. And they have almost 150 million endpoints around the globe, and they analyze 40 different languages as well. As far as the data concern, they use at least 100 TB of data every day. It's a daily basis. So at least they analyze 13 billion web requests. And do you think that's going to reduce? It's going to be more. It's going to be enormous. And this is all daily basis. So in order to analyze these data, AI comes into place because it complements on a SOC environment, but it cannot completely replace, and it should not replace as well. Then it's going to be a more problem for the businesses.
Okay, good. I will buy into this for the coming couple of years, and then we will have another discussion about that. Ruba, coming back to you in a question like many people are actually asking, and sometimes I have a discussion with my kids, have teenagers where they use their phones for too many things and they put their data all over the place. And I say, buddy, you are monitored. Somebody is looking at what you do on the net, and you should not be doing that. So from your perspective on the ethics piece, actually, do you think that it is ethical for us to use AI to track user behaviors and patterns and use them maybe commercially or for any other reason? You are on a mute, Robert. We still cannot hear you, Robert. Now we are.
Can you?
Yes, we can.
I think you did this on purpose so we cannot track you on. Oh man.
Ruba, we can't hear you again.
What I will do is actually I'll use the laptop speaker. Can you hear me now?
We can, definitely.
All right, probably the headset went down. So I hope the fish tank voice is not coming. I don't know, but anyhow, Sam, thank you so much for asking me this. I do teach law and ethics and IT with my students, and I wish I can even record the conversations we have with the younger students, that they are very passionate and aware of privacy concerns, of specifically, you know, altering user behavior. I think one of the greatest ethical concerns that we should and we are concerned about is the use of AI into manipulating user behavior. So we're looking at an ethical principle that says that we have the right to fully live our lives as per our standards and our values without being manipulated, without our knowledge, into doing something that that does not align with our values and the standards. So once I bring this issue in class, immediately Cambridge Analytica comes to the surface, where the company used the data in order to influence the behavior and in order to provide the customers with ads that are targeted to them, in order to the end game is to alter their behavior, make them vote for someone or make them do any other decisions that they are not aware of. So this is one of the greatest ethical issues that are of concern when we are using AI, is altering the user behavior. Privacy issues, tracking issues are other things that come to mind. I don't know if I have time. Do I have time, Samuel? Because I know there's lots of things I want to discuss about ethical issues. Maybe one more.
We can have 2 more minutes. This is an important topic. I like, actually, it's my mistake. I should ask this question the first.
If you asked it the first, I would have taken the whole hour talking about it. So
Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm currently actually reading a book, and the book title is The Last Driving License Holder Has Already Been Born. And you can imagine, when I discuss this with my son, who's 20 years old, he's like, this can't be happening, because, you know, cars are always advertised with the goal of the joy of driving and all that it brings to it. And we sit down and we discuss things, and they say, we will be in a time where when we tell our grandchildren that, oh, we used to drive a car, they will be like, how did the society allow you to do that? How did they trust you to be behind a car wheel? What if you hit somebody? And we'll be like, if you hit somebody, that person will die. And maybe our grandchildren or great-grandchildren can't even, you know, comprehend the idea. But back to the ethical issues of using AI in, you know, self-driving cars, becomes our over-reliance on technology that will make us lose control of aspects of our life that we do not wish to lose control of. And I'm not only speaking about, you know, driving the car, but over-reliance in technology in general, in every aspect of our life, which will have other complications, like loss of jobs, like inequality, wealth redistribution, and all that comes with this over-reliance in technology to do things for us. So this is another thing that I just wanted to mention about the ethical issues, that there should be governance. Governance for AI is very early on. There isn't enough governance or frameworks or policies that limit and control this field yet, but there should be. And I know the Institute of future of humanities. They do a lot of work mainly on the ethics of the use of AI.
Okay, excellent. Thank you, Ruba. So actually, we are almost at the top of the hour. There is too many questions scrolling in front of me from our audience that I don't think we will have time to answer all of them. But one question actually caught my eye, that since we are in a college environment and you guys offer certification and education, there is question about are there any industry certifications around AI and cybersecurity? And is there a standard in the industry that we can follow for those certifications? I don't want to take too much credit speaking about the Durham College, but I will ask Danny actually to speak about the 3 programs you guys have at the college and the AI hub for the coming 3-4 minutes. Danny?
Yep. Okay. So the 3 programs to which Ruba, our colleague here, is the program coordinator, basically are cybersecurity. Second is the artificial intelligence, and third is data analytics. These are what we call as emerging technologies. These are all graduates certificate program, and basically the program length is about 1 year. Now, this is, I guess, one of the things that really sets us apart with other colleges that offers programs like this, is because we do have our very own innovation hub that creates project for industry within Durham and outside Durham region. And we employ our students in those programs to be part of those projects so that they would get actual internship experience prior to even graduating from the program. Now, having said that, it is very important to know that these programs, specifically, let's say cybersecurity and AI, are the roadmap or the course outline or the curriculum are basically based on the industry standards. I am not aware of any AI certification that there is. It's not really my line of work. It is basically on cybersecurity. But in terms of cybersecurity and machine learning, so to speak, it is not really more of AI related, but in terms of SANS, GIAC, that's one coming up on the field of technical testing. There is CISSP, as well as the CEH for EC Council. There is the CRIS component and the CISM component from ISACA. And yeah, this 4, the ISC squared, the ISACA, the SANS, and the EC Council, these are the 4 major certification body in the field of cybersecurity. And these are, I think, where you should start, researching where you want to focus and specialize on. If there's anything that my colleagues would like to add to that, I'm giving them the floor.
Quick, actually, question from my side as a consumer, I would say, for the services, who I can contact, and maybe this is you, Ruba, as the coordinator for the programs, if I need to bring some of your students to work at my organization and mentor them during the study time, and then maybe after that to prepare them for the working environment.
So yes, we do have a work term. In our programs, we have a co-op. In our program, we have a complete office that does career and co-op and work term. So you will talk to me, and I will get you in touch with our career office. And
Okay.
we do appreciate a lot having the opportunity for our students to be working with the industry and in the industry. Yes.
Good, excellent. So I would say, like, I would really, on my behalf and the CyberX team behalf, I want to thank you guys for your time today. Thank you for the effort and all the energy you guys brought to the discussion. I know we can speak about this for many hours, but unfortunately we have a limited time from the organizers for this one. So I will say thank you all, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you, Samir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
It was a
everyone.
pleasure.
Thank you, guys.